Good evening and welcome to WACA Town Election coverage for the May 21st, 2024 election. To set the table for tonight, we're broadcasting live from the gymnasium. Unfortunately, it hasn't been a great turnout for a municipal election. We'll talk a little bit about that more later tonight. But let's set the table. We've got two candidates running for the select board. Yolanda Greaves, a longtime incumbent, longtime school committee member, longtime select board member, and a newcomer to the ballot tonight. Makita Keegan is running for her first attempt at the board tonight. And then we jump to the assessor. Steve Greenberg's running for re-election again. He's running for a 3-year term. And then we have the school committee. We have some uncontested races and all current candidates running for re-election. We have Christina Fitinis and Mark Terry. And then for a 1-year term, finishing up a 1-year term that she was appointed to, we have Marcy Coverwall. Then for the important board of library trustees, we have Claire Goss and Linda Ween running both for re-election for there. Board of Health is going to be a little bit of an interesting topic tonight here as WACA does live election night coverage. Local legend Edward Berman is running for re-election for the Board of Health, and that's got a 3-year term. And then we actually have 3 write-in candidates for the Board of Health tonight. So that'll be an interesting race as we get down and we go to election results. For Housing Authority, another very important position in town, we have Deborah Nielsen running for re-election. I've had the pleasure of working with Deborah on the Housing Authority for many years, a great candidate from there. And then on Planning Board, another longtime devoted person to the town of Ashland, Patricia Kendall is running for re-election for a 5-year term on Planning Board. So a lot of things going on here tonight in the gymnasium. Like I said, unfortunately, we haven't had a great turnout. We've had just shy of 500 people voting in person here today, and then we had a limited amount of people voting, early voting, which took place last week. I'm actually going to right now do the most important thing in America. I'm actually going to take a minute, and I'm going to go vote, so you guys can follow me over to Precinct 2. So it's about 7:26 on election night, and it looks like I'm the only guy voting right now. So we're not breaking down the doors to get here. But good evening, how are you?
Good evening, how are you?
I'd like to vote if I could, please. Oh, you know what? I left my ID over there.
The first 2 letters of your last name?
F-E-T-H. F-E-T-H.
And the first 3 of your first name?
J-O-N.
And if you could say your full name and address for me?
John Featherston, 98 Heritage Avenue in Ashland, Massachusetts.
John Andrew Featherston.
That's,
98 Heritage Avenue, Ashland.
that's me. Guilty as charged. Thank you very much.
Hands are in the booth, and when you're done, right down to the ballot box.
Great, thank you, and thank you for doing this today. All right, Paul, give me a little wave if you can hear me. There he is. So I'm in the Precinct 2 ballot box, making my selections now for Select Board, and now voting for Assessor and School Committee. Library Trustees, once again, a very important position. Board of Health, Housing Authority, and Planning Board. The greatest right that we have in this country is our ability to cast a ballot. And I've said it for years, and I'll continue to say it. If you don't vote, you can't complain. Take a quiz. Okay, I like quizzes. John Featherston, 98 Heritage Avenue in Ashland.
Take that straight, facing up.
There we go. So now I'm actually voting. I'm casting my vote. My ballot is processing, and my ballot has successfully cast. And can I get a sticker?
Take how many you want.
Oh, just one. There you go. All right.
You have a good night.
So how's the day been? Busy? No? No.
I got 80, over 86
That's with me.
on this tape.
That's 86 in precinct 2. Well, thank you for doing this. It's an important thing, so thank you. So 86 votes in precinct 2. I think that's the new level of pathetic that we have in town. You know, we've got important positions on the ballot here tonight. We've got select board, we've got board of health, we've got school committee. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to stay tuned. Just now 7:30. We'll be updating throughout the night with election results. You're watching WACA television and the election coverage of the 2024 municipal election. Oh, we're live. We're back here for election night coverage here. We're live in the gymnasium. We have a VIP guest here right now. Cindy, Cindy Livingstone, our famous town clerk. Elections don't happen without the town clerk. Let's talk about your day and how all the work that goes into this. You make it look seamless, but a lot of work goes into this.
Well, we started planning for this about a week after the March election was over. There is a lot of planning. I always say it's like planning a wedding, which I enjoy, so I love event planning, and I treat this as an event. Each year I try to add more and more to make it better looking for people, like maybe get them to come out here more. I try to get the word out there more each year. Unfortunately, for locals, it doesn't always work that way. The turnout is not very well.
So it's a long day. So you start the day here probably what, 6 o'clock in the
I
morning?
get to my office at 5:30.
5:30 in the morning, and you'll probably be leaving your office if you're lucky tonight at what?
9:30.
9. So a very long day,
Yeah.
and you have to come back to work tomorrow.
That's
you know,
correct.
so you
For 11 hours.
for 11 hours. You don't have the day off again tomorrow. So a lot goes into it. But then as we span, here you've got people in every precinct.
Yes.
They're here all day too. A lot of
Yes,
people I don't think.
most of my workers do work all day. I do have some. We split some shifts. But for September and November elections, we will probably have everybody here all day because I need a lot more staff for those elections.
Okay. So let's talk, so coming up, we've got tonight, it's the annual election. It's, May election. Then we've got a primary in September. Any thoughts on the primary in September?
We'll have a much larger turnout than this, but it won't be anything compared to what we're going to expect in November for presidential.
Okay. And then in November, the big one.
Yes.
What do you anticipate for November?
Turnout's probably going to be about 85%,
Oh.
and I'm guessing probably 40% of that will be done by vote by mail.
Really, 40%.
Yes.
40%.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the workload that adds to your office, though, too. 40%.
We did some math, and every single application that we receive is 12 minutes to process from start to finish. From the time we get it entered into the system, we get the ballot mailed out, wait for it to come back, get it processed there, get it to elections, get it processed that day, get it through the machine. So we'll do about probably between 4,000 and 5,000 vote by mail ballots for the presidential, and it's about 700 man hours.
So you've been the town clerk in Ashland for quite some time. You were the assistant town clerk, and now you're the full-time town clerk. You've heard my rants over the years that local elections are the most important elections.
I say it all the time.
Your local board of selectmen or select board can impact your life so much more than a Donald Trump or a
Yes.
Joe Biden could ever do. Your school committee can decide how successful your kids are going to be in life, or what your property value is going to look like. Your planning board can decide what your property value is going to look like,
What
or
the
what
town's
your
gonna look
roads
like.
or what the town's going to look like. So you must get frustrated because a lot of work goes into this and not a lot of people participate.
That's
And you do a phenomenal job of getting the word out. You're getting the word out. So how do we get people to pay more attention?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I
Okay.
don't know.
That's
And
the most
unfortunately,
honest
I
answer
have to plan each election if I'm gonna have every voter show
Right.
up. Unfortunately, so I don't know. I've tried doing mailings. I did a mailing last year. Signs up on the boards. I don't know if you guys have noticed the "Welcome to Ashland" signs now say
Yep.
"Vote Tuesday." I have.
Noticed
I
it
just
today,
bought
yep.
those. Our website is. We have so much information on our website. Chris, the deputy town clerk, he is awesome.
Yeah, he's been a
the
great
web.
addition
Yeah.
to the town. He's
Yeah,
been a
he
great
definitely
addition.
has.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't do without him and all of these lovely people.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, it's great. You see most of the same faces year after year, so it's great. So,
Yep.
Cindy, thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank
All
you.
right, I gotta
It's
get
very
to work.
important. We'll come back and ask you for the results later. You're watching live election night coverage here on WACA, and we'll be back shortly.
had to leave the town for personal reasons. I'm back here now. I do want to serve the community which I've been serving in the past. And I enjoy being on the Board of Health because there are various items come up, like for example the food license, food permit, and then streamlining those activities was one of those activities I took over. And we also went through the COVID-19 smoothly and transitioned to better health. I like to see that Ashland becomes a town of better health for everybody. Thank you.
Thanks. Well said. All right. Okay. Hi, can you just tell me who you are and why you decided to run for the Ashland Select Board?
Yes, hi, my name is Makita Keegan, and I'm running for Select Board because I care deeply about the future of Ashland. My family has been in town for about 21 years now. I have a son in the public schools, done a lot of volunteering around the community, but when this opportunity came up to run for a Select Board seat, I decided to go for it because I want to make sure that I'm in a position to be able to inspire and encourage other folks to participate more in town politics and government.
Starting to read.
So how is the voting process been going today?
Well, you know, we've seen traffic ebb and flow. From what I understand, numbers are slowly ticking up. I would personally like to see more people come out and vote and participate. We've got a lot of big issues coming up in town around affordable housing, green space, infrastructure. You know, it's important that people select their leaders, select the people that will be working with them to work, on these issues. So I would like to see the numbers come up a little bit more. I've got a great number of volunteers who are out there trying to encourage people to vote. Even though we've got a lot of uncontested seats, it's important that people participate in the process.
Okay, good. Purple sign or go to the...
And I suppose
So, okay, can you just tell me who you are and why you decided to run for Ashland Board of Health?
My name is KG Narayana. I've been on the Board of Health 3-year terms before, and also as the Conservation Commission. And then I had to leave the town for personal reasons. I'm back here now. I do want to serve the community which I've been serving in the past. And I enjoy being on the Board of Health because there are various items come up, like for example the food license, food permit, and then streamlining those activities was one of those activities I took over. And we also went through the COVID-19 smoothly and transitioned to better health. I like to see that Ashland becomes a town of better health for everybody. Thank you.
Thanks. Well said. All right. Okay. Hi, can you just tell me who you are and why you decided to run for the Ashland Select Board?
Yes, hi, my name is Makita Keegan, and I'm running for Select Board because I care deeply about the future of Ashland. My family has been in town for about 21 years now. I have a son in the public schools, done a lot of volunteering around the community, but when this opportunity came up to run for a Select Board seat, I decided to go for it because I want to make sure that I'm in a position to be able to inspire and encourage other folks to participate more in town politics and government.
Starting to read.
So how is the voting process been going today?
Well, we've seen traffic ebb and flow. From what I understand, numbers are slowly ticking up. I would personally like to see more people come out and vote and participate. We've got a lot of big issues coming up in town around affordable housing, green space, infrastructure. It's important that people select their leaders, select the people that will be working with them to work, on these issues. So I would like to see the numbers come up a little bit more. I've got a great number of volunteers who are out there trying to encourage people to vote. Even though we've got a lot of uncontested seats, it's important that people participate in the process.
Yeah, as am I.
Yeah.
June 14th. That's the day after Tom Brady did.
The day after what?
Tom Brady did.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Brady Day is June 13th.
They were rolling again.
So welcome back to WACA election night coverage, May 21st, 2024. Resetting the official ballot for the Select Board. Select Board are your CEOs of your town. And we have Yolanda Greaves running for re-election and Makita Keegan running for her first seat on the Select Board. Some people will tell you it's the most important board in town. They consider the fathers of the community. And I would agree that it's a very important position in town. Another important maybe if you pay attention to your tax bill, you might think this is the most important position in town. For assessor, what the assessor does is he assesses the value of your property in town. And Steve Greenberg has been doing it for many years, and he is running for re-election tonight, unopposed as well. The committee that I have the most respect for in the community is the school committee. I've done a lot of municipal positions over the years. School committee might be the most challenging that I've ever seen. We have 3 candidates running for re-election, all unopposed. Christina Fatinis, Mark Terry, and Marcy Coverwall. So they are all running. If you're watching this, you have about 7 minutes to get down here and cast your vote. Board of Library Trustees, another important, your library is an important thing in your community. Claire Goss and Linda Weenie are running for re-election. Board of Health, which decides, how safe your restaurants are, how safe your schools are, how safe your community is through a worldwide pandemic. Nobody better, in my opinion, than Ed Berman, who led the town through the pandemic. He is running for re-election this year, running unopposed. Tonight, we also have 3 candidates running for a write-in campaign for the Board of Health, so that might be the most interesting story here in about 6 minutes when the polls close. Housing Authority. The Housing Authority, a lot of people probably don't understand, the Housing Authority elects 4 local members from the community, and then a 5th member is actually appointed by the governor. The Housing Authority runs the low-income senior disabled housing in your community. And that's right over by Stone Park. It's a great job. It's a great asset. It's a very important thing in the community. The most important thing, the governor has said it. The lieutenant governor just said it yesterday. The most important thing in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts right now is affordable housing. So the Housing Authority is definitely in an important position. And Deborah Nielsen is running tonight unopposed for re-election for that. And then your planning board, which is a 5-year commitment to the town. All these other boards that we're talking about tonight are 3-year commitments. The planning board is a 5-year commitment, and they basically, essentially, decide what your town looks like what your new development looks like, what your new growth is going to look like. They set the standards for how you visually see your town. So important stuff going on here. And as Paul can pan out across the crowd, I don't see anybody voting. We got about 6 minutes left. I see the town manager talking to a few of the poll workers. If we pan over here a little bit, we've got the town clerk, and the assistant town clerk. They're going to get ready to count ballots here in about 6 minutes. And we'll be back with more live coverage from WACA in the Ashland High School gym for local election coverage on May 21st, 2024. So we're back with election night coverage here, live WACA from the Ashland Gymnasium, just about 1 minute before the polls closed, and look who we found. The town manager, Mr. Herbert. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, John.
Very nice to see you here tonight. So let's get your thoughts on the local municipal election.
Sure. So, you know, it's always a great day for democracy, especially when you're talking about a local election. I know usually the presidential elections are the ones that get all the attention, but your local elections are just as important, if not more important, in terms of your everyday life. So, you know, it's been a great day. It's been a great process, great campaign. You know, it's unfortunate we didn't have, you know, too many contested elections, but that is kind of, I think, a sign of the times, and not just, you know, particular to Ashland. But, you know, all you need is one or two great candidates to make a team, and so we're very, very fortunate for the people who did decide to run are all excellent candidates and excellent professionals, and really have Ashland's best interest at heart.
Well, you know, you bring up a good point. I mean, you know, hard to be a police officer nowadays, hard to be an elected official nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of animosity, so you have to respect both.
For sure.
And people say, well, hey, it's an uncontested election, why come out and vote? Well, you come out and vote because that's your way of thanking the candidate, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, because you're going to go through the next 3 years, have to work with this guy. And
I know,
you know,
which is
which is
should have hazard pay to it, right? You know,
But so I mean, I couldn't agree with you more, and I've talked about it for a long time. Your select board can affect my family's life much more than Joe Biden or a Donald Trump is ever
Absolutely.
going to affect my life. And
Absolutely.
why don't people understand that?
You know, John, I don't know. I think people just in general, as we're taught, well, I think it begins actually at school, in like elementary school, and you know, when you're talking about history and you're talking about you know, the past, and you're talking about government, it's really focused at the federal level and to a certain extent sometimes the state level. Very little discussion happens at the local level, or about the local level, and what happens, you know, in your community. And I really think that's where it stems from, is that you got to start at an early age and help people understand, you know, that again, at local elections are where the rubber meets the road. That's what affects your life. And you know, when you have a kid, you know, who wants to be a police officer or you know, a firefighter, nobody wants to be a town manager when they're
I don't know,
when
because,
they're
you know,
like in third grade. I don't even think they even know what a town manager is. I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
But you know, as you're talking to a political nerd here,
Yeah.
town manager's job is fascinating. Because you touch everything in the town. You touch the police department, you touch the schools, you touch the DPW, you touch the fire department, you touch animal control, you touch the roads.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see, because you know, it's not easy what you do.
Appreciate that.
No, I mean, it's not, and you know, especially coming out of a worldwide pandemic, and you know, handle the town. It's important that people are involved. And you know, the one thing that I've always enjoyed about Ashland is Ashland's always had that can-do spirit.
For sure.
And you know, there's never a shortage of volunteers in
Correct.
Ashland, and everybody always wants to step up, and that's really nice. But we do need to encourage people, and I like your theory about starting earlier in school to get people more involved in the process, because respectful disagreement is what makes government work.
Absolutely, and that's how you get better solutions. You know, if you can have an honest disagreement that doesn't become personal, but becomes focused on the issues, and you have different perspectives attacking a problem, you're going to get to a better solution. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, these kids who are like interested in being a police officer or a firefighter, leverage that as a way to kind of, okay, well, this is how a police officer fits in the whole structure, and what they do and what their responsibilities are. It's not just about catching the bad guys. Or with a firefighter, in Ashland and in a lot of communities, you know, it's just as much about the medical calls as it is going and responding to, you know, a house fire or something like that. So, and you know, just talking about that and
Well, I
again,
embarrassingly
leveraging-
had the Ashland Fire Department at my house a couple weeks ago. I had a fire alarm that wouldn't go off, and you know, kudos to the Ashland Fire Department and you know, Tony Duca. I mean, it's no surprise, but I mean, it's just, you know, that's what defines your community, though.
Exactly. It's those relationships.
It's the
right?
relationship, yeah.
You know, you were on the select board, and you were also a member of the Board of Health, and so you've been involved. So, you know, I think a lot of our firefighters, you know, by name and stuff. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of our residents don't know one or two firefighters personally or police officers personally. And again, it's that relationship.
But kudos to you though, because I mean, with our new beautiful public safety building, you're doing a lot more outreach. You're showing
Well,
off
thanks.
the beautiful building and everything.
Yeah.
But it's important if you know who your police officers are and you know who your public safety people are, your firemen, your EMTs are. That's important. I know
Absolutely.
that guy. He's a good guy,
Absolutely.
so that's important. So you're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Thanks, John. I appreciate
Good
it.
luck with everything. It's always a pleasure to see you, and hopefully, in September we'll have better turnout. But always a pleasure to talk to the town manager, Michael Herbert, hardest working man in Ashland. So
Thank you, everybody.
we'll be back with more live election coverage right here on WACA-TV in just a minute. So welcome back to WACA election night coverage. Polls are closed about 8:07. And look who I found, Claudia Bennett. She survived her first year on the select board. So it's been a year today.
A year today.
Let's
more or
talk
less,
about it.
give or take.
Yeah,
a
give or
few
take.
Days.
Yeah, it might be
Yeah,
2
it's a-
more days actually.
Yeah,
So
yeah, or-
364 days or so.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what are your thoughts on the first year on the select board?
Well, it's been a learning curve for me. There's a lot every day to learn and understand. There are certainly, it's very rewarding too. I really appreciate that. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to communicate with people and the best way to get feedback from folks, making sure that we always, have people engaged. I think, we're trying to explore new ways to do that. Michael's weekly newsletter has been huge.
I got to tell you, it's well
huge,
done.
right?
It's done. It comes at the right time.
Yep.
In the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But if I can editorialize here, known you for a long time. No
Yeah.
surprise by what I'm going to say, but you're the calming force on the board. Because I can see you thinking, but more importantly, I can see you listening.
Well, you're very kind, John.
Well-
but I think that we have a very good board.
No,
and-
it's not a shot
yeah,
at anybody
no,
else on
I
the
know
board.
it's
Yeah,
not.
It's a
And-
compliment to you, and I'll
yeah,
compliment
well,
everybody else as well. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I mean. Former educator, former school principal. I think that experience serves you well. I mean, do you agree? Disagree?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that experience in life is certainly important, and it does serve you well. And I would like to. I was saying to somebody today, I'd like to see more young people involved in town politics, because really in the future it is going to be their town. And while I appreciate the experience that myself and others might bring to a situation, it's really important to have that younger voice, I think, in all our decisions. So.
We can't let election night coverage go without giving a shout out to Rob, who's leaving the board. Another great guy, on the board,
Yep.
does his homework and, respectful, nice man, he's a gentleman. He'll be missed on the board.
He absolutely will. He was, I knew him years ago when I was actually on school committee, and he was on the select board.
Right.
And then he kind of, got busy for a while with his 4 kids, and then came back and served the town again. And I know that going forward, he'll continue to find ways to serve the community. He does have quite the long honey-do list, I understand. That he did text me the other day that he was already working on it.
She's got him working on
Yeah,
it already?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so.
But a big shout out to Rob Cherry. I mean, class act, good guy. He'll be missed on the board. And it looks like you're going to have a new board member.
We're going to have a brand new board member with some new perspectives and new thoughts, and I know her a little bit through the schools, and so I'm excited to work with a new person who will bring another breath of fresh air to us all.
Change is good.
Change is good.
So I would think that with Ashland's going to have 4 female
Yeah, 4.
select board members.
Yeah, 4 women.
And then Mr. Mignani will be the 5th. So that'll be interesting. That'll be,
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we get to 5 in the next election? Because I think Joe will be up again next year. So
I
maybe
believe so.
That'll be interesting. So Claudia, great job. Always a
Thanks,
pleasure
John.
to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for stopping
Thank
in.
you.
Tell people why it's important that they vote right before you go.
Sometimes the place that you can have the most influence is in your local government. There's so many things that really are out of our reach lots of times, but local government, even if, whether you vote, voting is important, but even getting out there and having conversations with people and reaching out with your ideas and your thoughts and just, trying to stay engaged in the town. It's so important to keep our town and being what we want. So.
Couldn't agree more. Claudia
right.
Bennett from the Select Board. You're watching live election night coverage right here on WACA television.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. We're back with a live election night coverage here for WACA television, the Ashland 2024 municipal election. Hot off the presses, Cindy has the results.
Okay, so for Select Board, we had an uncontested race for 2 seats. Yolanda Greaves with 315 votes and Makita Warren with 363. Assessors, Steve Greenberg with 355 votes, also uncontested. A 3-year seat on the school committee, 2 seats, both uncontested. 339 for Christina Fitanatis, and 337 for Mark Terry. The 1-year seat for school committee, Marcy Culverwell, 344. Library trustees, 2 seats, both uncontested. Claire Goss, 355. Linda Ween, 340. Housing Authority, 1 seat, Deborah Nielsen, 347. Planning Board, Patricia Kendall, uncontested at 360. For the Board of Health, we had, I didn't get Ed's total. Sorry. We had 3 write-in candidates and 1 seat,
We had 3 candidates running for
yes,
1 open
sorry.
seat for the Board of Health.
No, we had 4 candidates opening for 1 seat. 1 was on the ballot, 3 were write-ins.
Right.
For the write-in race, we had KG Nariana at 124, Maurice Krasner at 81, and Pam Mims at 20. And I will get you the number for
Ed Berman.
Yeah.
So there you go. We've got live election results. We have a victor here that might be a friendly face to all out there watching. Makita, you have won. It looks like you're the biggest vote getter tonight in town. Why don't you come over and let's talk a little bit about it. Congratulations.
Thank you, John.
Welcome to the election night coverage, but more importantly, welcome to the Ashland Select Board.
Welcome to public life. Well, John, WACA, thanks for having me tonight. And first and foremost, I just want to thank the people of Ashland for selecting me to be the next member of the Select Board. It's a tremendous responsibility and honor. I've had the privilege of getting to know many of you during the campaign process. I knocked on a few doors, had a few events, attended some community events. It's been tremendous to hear what's on the minds of folks here in town. And I look forward to continuing that dialogue, continuing that communication, and serving you to the best of my ability.
There you go. So tomorrow you got to get sworn in, and then the rubber hits the road. So you excited?
You know, it's a little and a lot. I'm actually a little bit for a loss of words.
But tonight's for celebration.
I think so. Again, I just want to thank everyone who voted for me, and I want to really thank my dedicated volunteers, all of you. There's so many I can't even name, but you have really made the difference in just getting the word out, connecting people across town, not just letting people know about my campaign, but getting people involved in civic action. And that's one of the things that I want to continue doing on the board on the Select Board, getting more people activated, more people connected to their government, more people getting out, not just voting, but participating in our town and creating our future.
Well, good for you. Like I said, congratulations. Enjoy this evening. Get to work tomorrow.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
You've been watching live election coverage here from WACA Television, the annual town election. And we'll be back with more coverage in just a minute. Was Ed here?
Mike is live.
So just to recap, live election result coverage here from WACA-TV at the Ashland High School gym. Recapping tonight's results for Select Board. Yolanda Greaves, 315 votes. Makita Keegan, newly elected to the Select Board with 363 votes. For Assessor, Steve Greenberg, 355 votes. For School Committee, the 3-year term, Tina Fitades with 339, Mark Terry with 337. To fill the 1-year seat for the school committee, Marcy Coverall, 344 votes. Ed Berman was elected to the Board of Health with 344 votes. For library trustees, Claire Goss, 355. And Linda Weenie, 340. For Housing Authority, Deborah Nielsen, 347 votes. And for Planning Board, Patricia Kendall with 360 votes. The Board of Health had 3 candidates running for a write-in campaign. KG Narayana finished with 124 votes. Maurice Kasner with 81. And which Mims was running? With 20 votes. So KG will fill that seat on the Board of Health with 124 votes. So that's going to wrap it for another year with election coverage. We'll be back in September and cover the primary. You're watching live election night coverage here on WACA television.